Bonsoir tout le monde. Nom c'est André Marcelin et real estate broker pour environ plus de 20 ans. Et côté n'a aidé moun dans la communauté Brooklyn, Queens, Long Island, dans tout New York là, parce que nous sommes licenciés pour New York State. Et jeudi, nous venons ensemble avec Zamino, Donald Chamela, qui est dans Business Mortgage, qui pour aider à qualifier pour acheter caillou et pour capable comprendre leur sortie de yoa, qui gens pour capable organiser, est-ce qu'on qualifié, est-ce qu'on pas qualifié, et bien c'est job nous là jeudi pour nous parler ensemble avec eux, pour nous faire connaître qui l'a qualifié, qui l'a pas qualifié, et en pile l'autre bagage encore, nous besoin pour nous parler ensemble avec eux. Et Donald, it's a pleasure to be with you today, where we're gonna be talking a lot about real estate and mortgage. Welcome, Donald.
Hello, everybody. Hello. Shout out to all my Haitian mommies. How you doing? So I didn't understand the word he just said, by the way, but I'm glad to be back and happy to see everybody, or everybody seeing me, therefore.
Definitely. Donald, how you been doing?
I've been good, busy as ever, and people are getting really nice homes that I'm putting them into.
Definitely. Our job is to help people realize their American dream. And that's what we're doing. Donald qualified the people. He sent them to me. I give them a house. You come to me. You need to buy a house. I send you to Donald. Donald qualify you. He send you back to me. I'll find your house. If you want to sell your house, I meet up with you. I get the listing from you. I put it in the market for 3% commission. Donald send me a buyer. We sell the house for you. That's how we do it, right, Donald?
That's how we do. That's how we do, everybody.
Yes. So now you get a buyer, and the buyers right now they are worried about should I buy now? Why do I have to pay interest rate? Which is a lot of people are spoiled because before we had an interest rate as low as 3%,
Even in the twos.
even in the twos. So now things gone up. So what do you tell people?
Well, I'd really like to take a minute to explain this market to you because, a lot of people misunderstand the market and don't gauge their future financial plans, with insight to really what's going on. So let me explain. First, when COVID hit, the rates went ridiculously low, even to in the twos. And what that did was that caused home prices to shoot up substantially. I mean, in areas we were seeing, up to 20, 30, even 40% gains for property values. Then COVID ended and inflation hit. That's exactly what happened. Everybody thought all the free money the government was giving out was going to be free, and obviously not. You're paying for it now with inflation and higher prices. So what they did was they raised interest rates to offset the inflation. Raising the interest rates, what that did was it caused home prices to level off. So they're no longer shooting up. They have now plateaued. Okay? Now people are worried because they're seeing what their payment would be now that rates are in the fives and the sixes. Now that they went up, they're saying that payments are too high. But these people don't understand the market. And if they can afford the housing payment, I would say now is the best time to buy because now the home prices are level. So what I tell everybody is they're getting in at the new ground floor. Rates are going to hang around here for a little bit. They're not going to drop because the country's problems are not solved. So what happens is people buy at this market rate. Then in a year or two, when the interest rates do drop down again and go into the 4s and the 3s, what's going to happen? Home prices are going to rise. So instead of buying a $600,000 house at 6%, you're going to buy a $700,000 house at 4%. You're going to have the same housing payment as you would right now. The reason why you should buy right now is you're going to buy it $600,000. A couple of years later, it's going to be worth $700,000. Now you can refinance to the lower rate and then lower your payments, as opposed to waiting, buying at the new high price and having the same payment. Or you could pull out cash from the equity of your home. So that's why it's important to really gauge the market right and find, what I tell people is just find your dream home, somewhere you want to live for the next 20 years, and that's your best bet. And not to be standoffish if you can afford the payment. Now, I was discussing with Andre, I qualify you. So if you make gross double your payment on the mortgage, then you can be approved to buy a home.
Well, thank you that all. Si je suis capable d'expliquer nous exactement qui ça Donald se dit là, et je suis capable de commencer ensemble avec vous comme moi-même qui un realtor. Un realtor qui t'apprend mon métier dehors, qui t'a marché ensemble avec vous, les côtés que mon a bataille pour acheter caille, intérêt tu bas, et qui vient faire que et en pile monde des acheter caille, yo acheter avec intérêt qui bas et t'es gon bataille côté que monde t'a mettre plus que et caille là dans market. Et côté que et si gon caille qui dans market pour 500 000, nous va regarder monde qui va l'acheter qui va l'offrir environ 540 550 pour lui. Et monde ça yo mettez cash dehors, yo acheter caille. Et qu'on y a là et nous vinn ouais qu'on y a market là vinn prend un autre niveau. C'est ça, je veux dire, nous là, market la vient pour l'autre niveau à cause de inflation qui vient paraître, que le gouvernement vient prendre en responsabilité, côté que le dit, et la montée rythme là. Donc, la montée rythme là, nous sommes capables de rythme environ 5 à 6% qu'on y a, et côté, nous venons qu'on y a, vient plus caille dans le market là. Ou pas pour aller acheter Kaikonia pour aller mettre plus que ça demander encore pour aller bataille là encore toute market là pour aller venir on bagaille que nous-mêmes nous capable brûler dans real estate business market là pour aller venir stable il dit que market là a level up ça veut dire que market là pour aller ton côté il pas monter encore. So à partir de là qu'on y a si ou sont monde qui qualifié pour acheter un caille même si vous achetez caille là avec un intérêt qui gros et ou toujours bon parce que si market ça vient retourner encore côté que nous que caillou pour venir monter encore côté que tout le monde pour le bataille pour acheter caillou encore ou bien intérêt vient descendre encore nous pour ouais qu'on y a là côté que nous en position que nous pour retourner back encore pour la bataille pour acheter caillou but si ou acheter caillou qu'on y a là ou payer mortgage ou build up equity sous caillou equity qui veut dire encore si nous capable de comprendre c'est quantité cob qu'on fait pendant quoi valeur qu'à la montée pendant que ou payer mortgage et nous capable pour faire une histoire ensemble avec autour environ 15-20 ans de cela nous gagnons un monde qui t'a acheté caille à intérêt jusqu'à 12% jusqu'à 8%. Eh bien monde ça yo konya là qui t'a acheté caille à intérêt qui haut yo pas passer de intérêt et bien monde ça yo konya yo chita son equity extraordinaire nous monde surtout dans Queens et Brooklyn qui chita sur equity monde ça yo qui veut plus que $1 million et en plus monde dans Brooklyn konya qui habite dans caille nous capable voir que caillou vaut plus que $1 million et tandis que pas même doué $100,000 sur lui-même monde ça kembe intérêt pas même refinance même intérêt très haut mais yo toujours travail yo toujours rester avec intérêt yo payer mortgage yo build up intérêt qui fait jodi que yo capable content de réaliser American Dream ou même qui dehors tout c'est ça nous parle ensemble avec vous et si ou son monde qui t'a aimé acheter son caille ou penser intérêt trop haut pensez une seule bagaille pensez combien qu'on vous faire combien qu'on vous afford pas bien que les Donald lui-même les qualifié pour le capable mettre dans caille, c'est 50% seulement dans income que les prend reste comme pour acheter manger pour faire l'autre bagaille pour acheter grade sur les mettre dans plus pas là-dedans dans income il seulement prend 50% pour qualifier. So sous capable effort de payer au mortgage à 50% et bien on mettre prend chance acheter caillou. Yes, Donald, I was telling him about, I just more or less he, translate about what you said and encourage people or how they could continue to get out there and buy their home.
Okay, good.
You have a question for me?
I let me think if I have a question at the moment. So, what has been your experience with buyers in this market and their questions and
Yeah, like I said, a lot of buyers out there, they worried about the interest rate being high. Some of them are spoiled. Some of them been looking for properties when the interest rate was like in the threes. Now we're talking about 5, 6%, and they are worried the fact that sometimes the payment is gonna be too high for them. But this is what I have to tell them, Donald. How do you qualify them based on their income?
well, yeah. So basically, you can qualify for half of your gross monthly income, approximately half of your gross monthly income, maybe even sometimes 45% of your gross monthly income. And that is against all your debts, not just your mortgage. It would be every liability that is on your credit report. So as long as you make that amount of money, you can qualify that on the books. Also, there's non-QM portfolio products for people that make the money and don't show it. It's a little higher on the interest rates, but we could qualify you off your bank statements. We could get a profit loss from your accountant saying you make enough money. There's other products where you could go off your 1099 exclusively before you write off the deductions. And those products are very, very popular now for the self-employed buyer because we haven't seen products like that in a long time.
It's a question in a lot of buyers that been dealing with me. They know about it already. Your car payment will affect your income. I mean, how much affect how much you qualify for. In other words, if you are paying a car payment, let's say $500 a month, that $500 a month is going to reduce how much money you're going to afford to pay a mortgage, monthly payment mortgage. Is that true?
That is correct. That will definitely affect your monthly payment, and your monthly debt ratio, as a matter of fact, because if your payment's $500 and your mortgage is $2,500, now you have to make double that amount. So instead of having to make $5,000 a month with the $500 mortgage car payment, now you have to make $6,000 per month because you got to make double what your debts are.
Definitely. And what's important is that Donald and I, we're here to educate you, to make you understand the home buying process is a process that you get into and you have to learn how it goes. In other words, if you're working with me, you have questions, we have no problem to answer your question. If you're working with Donald, we have no problem Donald has no problem to answer your questions. In other words, if you need to know what to do to buy a house, all you got to do is ask us. You ask us about how much can you afford. For example, you could be making a lot of money and you cannot afford to buy an expensive house because of your debt. And that's what Donald was talking about, the debt ratio. So if you have too much debt, the amount that you're going to be qualified to buy a house is going to be minimal.
Yeah, correct. So, and student loans get factored into that as well. installment loans, credit card payments. Even if you have to pay child support and alimony, we count those as debts also. So those get subtracted from your income.
Definitely. And another thing that I want to talk to people about is the fact that the market is level up right now. Ça veut dire que nous gagnons market là prend niveau côté que nous pape et vraiment la bataille pour acheter caille, gagne un peu l'inventaire de yo et si ou besoin acheter un caille ou doit et contacter nous et une chose qui est importante pour nous capable comprendre gagne un peu le monde qui t'a chercher caille surtout dans Long Island côté qui niche moyen c'est là gagne un pile monde qui DM cap chercher caille et gagne caille pour vendre tout et gagne un peu le monde qui est qualifié pour $600,000 qui pas même capable de faire nos caille votre connait nous gagne pile caille qui paraît dans niveau 500,000 even 499 you mandé pour caille et so if you qualify for $500,000 we'll be able to get you a house in Long Island right now and if you don't have your pre-approval yet Donald is in position to help you to qualify for that amount of money. Right, Donald?
Definitely. And other things as well. We were talking about credit and this and that. I can, if you need some help with your credit, you know, we work with low credit scores and we are great at credit repair for a lot of people. We analyze their credit report and see how they can get the best possible loan to buy a home after analyzing their credit report for them. And then give them insight.
You're just saying something that's very, very important. You out there who's looking to buy a house. Sometime I got a phone call. I need to buy a house, but my credit is not there yet because I'm working on my credit. If you're not a specialist on repairing credit, you're gonna have a hard time to get your credit to where you want it to be.
Yeah. And also, I could give you advice on what to pay, what not to pay. Just to let you know, Andre and I were working on a client who had a collection account that was charged off 6 years ago. And it drops off the credit after 7 years. Now, she was willing to pay that debt off just to get a mortgage, pay it off. And then when I analyzed her credit and ran her approval, I informed her that she's approved whether she pays it or not. And it's going to come off her credit in a year from now anyway. So I told her, don't even bother paying it, you know, because you're approved without paying it. And a year from now, it's off her credit anyway. And she was still approved to buy the home.
And she's closing next week.
Yep.
So, yeah, it is very important, mesdames et messieurs, il est très important pour nous capables de comprendre que deux mondes ça qui parler ensemble avec nous, où là nous travaillons de concert et pour nous capables de réaliser American Dream. Et là nous dit nous aider réaliser American Dream, c'est pas seulement méthode et de chercher caille, vendre nos caille, mais nous préparer tout pour capable qualifier pour acheter caille là. See, by example, too, there is something very important that we want to tell you also, Donald, is the fact that your credit score is not in the level to get the best rate. But Donald will analyze and see how we can get your credit up to get you the best rate. And he did it. I'm witness of that. I'm sure that we have a couple of clients that he's working with right now, and that's what he's doing.
All the time, I take the extra time with all my clients to do the right thing by them and get them into the best possible program that they could be into.
Well, that's very important. And some people out there, they think that their credit is not good enough for them to qualify to buy a house because they heard about 620 score minimum. And sometimes it takes a little bit of effort to get your credit to 700. For example, if you let's say if you have a credit score of 620 and your debt ratio is very high, your credit is still gonna be low. But if you get your debts down more or less to the 33% mark, your credit score will get to 7. So you have to understand that. But you need to get somebody. If somebody wants to help you, especially Donald and I, we're helping you for free. We're not charging you to repair your credit. All we need from you is to take you out there, get you a house. That's what we do. But yeah, so it is very important to understand this. And if you have questions, so we're free to, we're always ready to answer you. If you would call me, my phone number is 917-567-3596. Pour Haïtien, 917-567-3596. 917 567 3596.
And I'm Cat 616 425 09 35. I got it.
You got it.
616 425 09 35.
Yes, 616.
616 425 09 35.
935, c'est ça.
C'est notre tous amis qui écoutent nous là. Donald, welcome back, Donald, to the show.
Thank you, missed
everybody
you all.
keeps saying welcome back. Andre, everybody
Thank
saying
you.
welcome back. So, every other Friday, we're gonna be here at the studio. So tell them.
Yeah, c'est ça. Et chaque deux vendredis, nous appuyons là, des studios, et nous sommes capables de tout. Merci beaucoup d'avoir que vous recevoir nous la caillou, ou dit nous bienvenue. Et chaque deux vendredis, nous sommes là pour nous baou information. Et même côté à tout, nous demandons pour préparer questions pour poser. Si vous avez des questions pour poser, nous sommes capables de répondre à questions parce que nous chargés, nous qui ont dit bagala, nous c'est bourrique chargé, nous plein réponses pour moi-même avec Donald, nous travaillons des concerts, nous avons business longtemps et nous connaissons tout côté, toute question gagnée, nous avons réponse pour.
Yes.
Donald,
Second that.
give your number again.
616 425 09 35.
616 425
0935,
35.
c'est ça.
That's Donald number. Master?
917 567 35 96, ça c'est le numéro de téléphone pas moins. Et comme nous disons, et si vous avez des questions pour poser, vous n'avez pas besoin de retourner. Si nous retourner là encore, vous devez relayer nous dans le numéro ça pour poser nos questions à partir de assoir ou bien demain si Dieu veut. Et nous avons une réponse pour vous, comme nous là pour nous aider. Nous là pour nous aider. Et normalement, nous aidons réaliser American Dream, nous faisons route là net ensemble avec vous. Ou comme c'est à zéro, si credo pas en forme, nous aidons ranger credo. Si on l'autre petit bagage qui manquait, très simple. Bah, même l'autre bagage qui est très important, c'est côté que on coupe vin côté moins et crédit yon là dans le pas bon. Et simplement, il y a un crédit. Two people, a couple. You're trying to understand what I'm saying. Yeah. A couple came to me. One of them has a credit score of 700. The other one has a credit score of 600 with no problem in it. But you only have a low score. So now what do I say to you? The other person, your wife or your husband, has a couple of credit cards that are doing good. So all you got to do is get your husband to put you under his credit card, or you put her under your credit card, and the credit score goes up.
That's all you got to do if you have no credit also. Just put yourself
If
as
you
an
have no
authorized
credit,
user.
yes.
Become an authorized user and you will get credit.
That's very simple. So only, we can't say, back à dire c'est moi c'est Donald qui a faut comprendre ça, but oui, faut songer que nous là pour nous aider. So, numéro de téléphone, c'est 917 567 35 96. Job moi, c'est pour me sortir ensemble avec vous, à monter au caille, après qu'on finisse joindre, prier pour volo dans McDonald's. Si vous avez caille pour vendre tout, job moi, comme vous laissez broker, c'est pour me rencontrer ensemble avec vous, ou signer un listing agreement, m'a charge seulement 3% commission, m'a mettre car là dans market pour Donald a bon monde pour m'acheter car là tout de suite et moi-même tout me gagne un paquet de monde tout besoin acheter car de vous bon vendre car va prendre 2 mois pour gagner un contrat. Relais-moi dans 917 567 35 96. Your number Donald.
616 425 09 35.
En anglais? English now.
516 426 0935.
Yes, c'est ça. Et, we spoke about how the interest rate affect you. We explained to you how you could still buy a house because the market is level up. In other words, we have a lot of houses available now in the market. But don't wait. Bon exemple, côté que un paquet de monde qui t'a acheté à 8% jusqu'à 12% interest rate. Mon yo retient dans caille yo, you just continue payer mortgage yo. En pile la monde ça et tout me fait compliment. Les 2007, 2008, real estate bubble est arrivé. Mon yo toujours été dans caille yo. Yo pas courir, yo pas quitter caille aller dans foreclosure. Eh bien, jodi a monde ça yo chita sous millions of dollars. So therefore, pas quitter changement market là capable faut ralentir pour acheter caillou. Méthode yo acheter caillou. I was talking to someone earlier Donald, a client of ours. She was saying to me, well, you know, I cannot find a home. I said to her, but she was home for about 2 weeks. But I said to her, maybe you don't know what's going on right now. You were looking for a lot of home. I mean, we were working all over the place looking for a home for her. She looked at a lot of homes she didn't like or she couldn't be qualified for them. But right now, we have plenty of houses in the market for you. And she says, okay, I'm willing to go out again.
Your number, Donald, your number then.
616 425 09 35.
Ça, c'est le numéro Donald 516 425 09 35. Numéro pas moins, André Marcelin, c'est 917 567 35 96. So, les arrivés, it's time for us to say goodbye, Donald.
Bye. It was a pleasure being with everybody. To all my Haitian mommies, bye.
July 29.
So, yes, c'est un plaisir pour me ensemble avec nous à soir. Et nous gagnons pour nous retourner là encore 29 juillet si Dieu veut. Et comme moi dis nous, si nous gagnons question pour nous poser, par return 29 juillet, vous capable toujours les Donald le numéro qui 516 425 09 35 ou bien numéro pas moins qui 917 567 35 96. Mesdames et messieurs, c'est un plaisir pour moi d'être ensemble avec nous.